You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
Ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between or outside of it, welcome to Monday Night Mock Drafts with Evan, right here on the Get Right Fantasy Network, coming to you every Monday evening until week 1 of the NFL season. I am your host, Evan Sather. Tonight, my guest is a highly respected man in fantasy football's Dynasty format. He is a regular contributor and writer for the Dynasty Nerds. You know him best as Luxembourg. Please welcome to the show, John Hammersmith. John, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. I'm excited to be here. Excited to do some drafting. Right in middle of a bunch myself.
Definitely, yeah. We were talking a little bit before the show. You're in the middle of a dynasty startup yourself. I just happen to inherit another dynasty roster in another league for the first time in I don't remember how long. Now that I have a second dynasty team, and it's a disaster of a total team that I'm inheriting. But I've never actually done a rebuild for any dynasty team, so this is going to be new for me. Where if my best running back is Braylon Allen, I'm probably going to be in a world of hurt for a while, right?
Yeah, but that's how you want to be if you got to rebuild. You know, you don't want running backs. They're interchangeable, and just start looking for where you can get some value. Obviously, you're not competing this year, but that's part of the fun. I've taken on the fair share of my rebuild projects myself.
Yeah, so it'll all be brand new for me, and I'm a little nervous just because it's the price tag is a little more expensive than my own home redraft, or not just redraft league, but my dynasty league too. So Vince Mapstone is a little concerned about the Braylon Allen slander, but don't worry, Vince, I'm not here to trash Braylon Allen. I mean, he did come back down to earth after like 6 games in his rookie season, but that's actually kind of something I'm interested in hearing from you, John, in that Braylon Allen is now he's got to compete with Isaiah Davis when he comes back from injury. So now that Breece Hall got the tag, what's going to happen with this Jets backfield? Do we know yet?
No. You assume like that tag is simply a placeholder. If they get a deal done, it's Breece, obviously 100%, but there's still no guarantee that he's going into this season or finishing this season with the Jets. They didn't trade him last year because they had a different plan, and we'll see. We'll see what that is still. But this is just a rough crop of running backs in this draft. So when they're looking at that, I mean, there's no reason for them to kind of sell Breece cheap or move him cheap when you see like a lot of the contracts that are moving around the league right now.
Most definitely. Fantasy Football Tavern, Kendall has to say, John, love you, my friend. Fingers crossed we all get to Scott Fishbowl Chicago Live this year. I agree with that.
Definitely, man. Great times.
So I wanted to get into a little bit on what you've written, too, for Dynasty Nerds. So okay, good. I got that tab pulled up. So this is the last most recent article that you have posted. So we're looking at this, the tail end of last season, but at least we can show the people this is what we can expect with start-sit articles once we get to the new fantasy football season. So entry 103 of 106 in the weekly strategy and advice. I went through this article just earlier over the weekend, just in preparation for the show. And I gotta say, I really love what you guys are doing for at least like top 4, top 5 recommendation in each tier, whether that's just, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I think I was just most curious for you, John, about the risk column here for every single. What goes into the calculation for when you assess risk for every player's matchup?
For sure. I mean, it's kind of almost like you're looking at the defense that they're playing against. You're looking against the kind of the situation. Maybe if the weather, if there's you have an injury risk person, so a general thing like that. So it became kind of more of a all-inclusive. When it started off with just a couple things early on, the more and more I engaged with people on Reddit and talked with people about the rankings, man, people are relentless and you love it. People are fired. People are fired up about what they believe. And if you contradict that, they disagree and they want to disagree with you. And I love it because it sharpens you. It makes you better. Times I've gone into my rankings and change it. But when it comes to the risk, the reason why that evolved more into trying to be something more inclusive and I guess was because there is risk isn't just one factor. It's not just an injury. It's not just, I got weather. So when I wanted to go, obviously most people fall into a different kind of that middle spectrum. But that's something I keep wanting revising a little bit more and have a little stronger formula going into next year because it started off very tight, but very small. And I don't think it encapsulated a lot. But as like I said, talked with the community more, I was like, sure, I'm not thinking about that. And that's one of the beautiful things that we're doing right now. It's engaging people and kind of getting them to hear other opinions, being vocal about it because everyone keeps this stuff internal and it's a fun game, fun community.
You got that right, especially the Reddit part. I don't typically browse Reddit, but I did do an AMA when I used to be a part of an old fantasy football team last August to finish off the month of August, and I love being completely honest about what I think about running backs like Bucky Irving and Chase Brown, where if those of you listening right now, if you've ever seen me or heard me talk about these running backs, I'm not I don't like both of them for fantasy football as RB1s. And as I mentioned that, here come all the downvotes because everybody's in love with these running backs. I don't like to flex on saying that my doubts about those running backs aged well, but Chase Brown at least picked it up toward the end, right?
Sure did. Listen, it was all about a scheme. Browning wasn't doing it.
No, sir. So, anyway, that's just to give you all at least a preview of what you can expect for John's articles here. This is of week 17 for the 2025 season. So, Dynasty Nerds is definitely coming out with rookie articles. Nothing yet by John, but John, I remember you mentioned there will be some rookie content coming from you pretty soon, too. So, what little sneak preview are you willing to give the audience about what's coming? Without giving away too much.
I'm doing a lot of film study recently, so my biggest thing I've been doing is I've been basically breaking down a lot of film study. So it's really been, I've gone through my quarterbacks, gone through my running backs, about halfway through wide receivers, and then I'll be finishing up tight ends probably next week. And a lot of the content I want to kind of focus around real life film study, what we're looking at, what I'm seeing, and how I think it translates to the NFL. Because when we're looking at players, that's one piece of the puzzle, right? Is understanding how their game's going to translate to the league. And then you start learning the other things like how high are they drafted and where do they go? So we know how the NFL feels about them, and then how their skills that I'm seeing on film and how I feel that they're going to translate over onto the field for the team that they're going to. But the most beautiful thing about football is it's so unique, and every team can bring such a unique scheme or feel or to their team. That's what makes this game so fun, is that we're trying to predict these scenarios. Just like I said, taking those three key elements, there's so much we still don't know. And that's why we get a Puka Nacua or you get a Brock Purdy, because no one saw that coming.
No, absolutely not. And back in 2000, we could say the same thing about Tom Brady, 6th rounder, right?
That's exactly. I mean, there's always an example. So even as much as people are poo-pooing on this draft class, and it's got not the best smell to it, but you know what? How do we know? It's all just inference and guessing right now until these guys put on the pads, get on the field, and get some real coaching. So that's part of this fun. Let's do this.
Definitely. Yeah, so speaking of which, so I just want to at least get into the format. I don't have a special graphic for advertising the format tonight, but as you all can see on the screen, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex, and then 6 bench spots. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, no tight end premium. It's just about as plain as it gets without adding in like redraft stuff like kickers and defenses. So, John, my friend, are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Let's get this started. I'm going to get this started. We're going to get this kicked off with Brett 420 taking the 101 spot. Now that we're getting into this, we have 60 seconds per pick, so it looks like everybody's been good here. Yeah, Bijan Robinson 101. I am not at all surprised about that pick. So, John, is there any way you could go wrong in a dynasty startup by not like taking Bijan Robinson or Jamar Chase? Like, how do you make a case for taking anybody else who isn't those two?
So I think Jahmyr Gibbs can lead into something like that. I think even this guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he just got the contract. He's going to get the volume. So it's, I don't know. I think those are the only 2 guys, and here they go 3 and 4, of course, but it's like those were the only other 2 guys that you can really make an argument for, because either of them truly could be the wide receiver 1 or running back 1 or number 1 fantasy player overall this year.
And speaking of which, it's now my turn to pick. So I'm going to take the elite wide receiver I love to buy low on, which is Justin Jefferson. A lot of people are either selling or just super low about Justin Jefferson just because the offense and the quarterback play was atrocious last year. But, John, now that he's presumably got Kyler Murray throwing him the football, at least to kick off the season, what does that do for you with your opinion on Justin Jefferson? Does he get back to wide receiver 1 status?
I think the ADP is slow to adjust, and I think people are a little nervous because they watched what happened with Marvin Harrison, how Marvin Harrison hasn't developed. And everyone wants to blame Kyler, and I'm one of them. That's fine. But Justin Jefferson is already solidified, and, he's going to command those targets. AOC is a much better offensive coach. So I think it's wheels up, and I think the ADP has not adjusted to Kyler Murray signing there yet. No.
I tend to agree with you. Like, I don't know if we can get the whole thing on camera here, but like the ADP right now for Sleeper is just disgusting. Like, Jeremiah Love was at 13, Breaking Ball took him at 8. And there are some quarterbacks that are like at 6, 9, 11, 15, and this is in a 1 quarterback format. So, John, I don't agree with taking a quarterback this early in a dynasty startup. Do you see a case for doing this?
In 1 quarterback? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Same page, yeah.
You can't do it now. There was a time where I would have gotten on board on a 2nd round Josh Allen. But that was a couple of years ago. And I don't think I could do it even anymore because quarterbacks there's too many of them. Their offenses are too high-powered. So I would rather get my skill positions that are just the higher-powered skill positions over the higher-powered quarterback.
Completely agree, because like how often can you replace elite playmakers like a Justin Jefferson, a James Cook, if you don't mind the bias for my own team, but like looking at the 1-2 turn that you just took, Devon Achane, Drake London, I'm starting to see some people worry about Devon Achane, being that he's like the last noteworthy player in that Dolphins offense after ripping the whole thing apart, trading Tua, trading Jalen Waddle, and then letting Tyreek walk in free agency. So I think this is wheels up for Achane too. What do you think about his dynasty value from this point on, John?
I think it's he just won the mid-second round in the Superflex league that I'm in. So to get him here at the turn to me feels like a strong play. He's going to get volume. He's a pass catcher. He's a touchdown on every possible touch. So, and he's proven to be more durable than people wanted to give him credit for coming into the league. Yes, he's missed some games. He's gotten hurt. Everybody does. It's football. But he has been very durable. He doesn't just go out on every ankle sprain like Waddle does, his former teammate. But, so that's I'm good with an Achane. I will say this. I'm going to say I am upset at myself that I didn't go and grab Bowers instead of Drake London. So very kudos to who was that there that grabbed him?
Grabbed who? I'm sorry.
Oh, I blame the apologies.
I also apologize. I forgot to mention the third round reversal.
Oh. Psych.
That's unprofessional of me. I apologize, folks. I'll let you get that pick in before you finish your thought.
I'm on the board. No worries. See, once again, even at this point, Josh Allen's here sitting at the third round, and I have no desire to take that. And so you start looking. It's crazy how quickly things start getting bare and great. But I'm going to go with this pick because I absolutely love this guy and think he's a wide receiver.
We got loving our own Colston Loveland. I mean, I don't know if I go as far as to say that he's a wide receiver, but like he's definitely got the potential to be in the same tier as Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. So taking him as the third tight end off the board, I can 100% see it. John, is it wheels up also for Colston Loveland from here, considering the tremendous rookie year he had?
Watch how he played and watch how he grew throughout the year. He can be put in at every possible position. He looks like a young Kelsey. The way he moves around the field, the way he finds the open, the way this offense is progressing towards, and Caleb in a second year in there. I mean, this man was Loveland's toe tapping the sideline and making catches. Am I reaching for him here? Sure. Am I making up for not grabbing Brock Bowers before? But when I just scroll through my running back situation and my how I know quickly tight end goes here, there's only one other tight end I want before it just all feels very muddy to me, which would be Tyler Warren. This to me is like, I got to get him here because I'm not going to get him back on a third round reversal in the fourth, I don't think.
Definitely. So Dildos actually disagrees with you here. He would rather take Josh Allen at the 301 over Loveland. So I know you just said you have no interest in a Josh Allen at that turn, whether it's third round reversal or not at the 301. But does Josh Allen still have enough like rushing upside? And now that he's got DJ Moore as his primary weapon, is that going to be better for his dynasty value?
Is he still probably the quarterback one? Yes, in 2026. I will say Josh Allen has been incredibly fortunate. And I don't like the game of roulette, but eventually in football, things hit. I want Josh Allen to be that unicorn. He's my favorite player. And probably in Dynasty, the right pick, two dildos, you're correct. The right pick was probably Josh Allen. And if I'm playing to win right now, which I probably should have been with the picks I have, it's not wrong. But I'm going Loveland because I'm trying to build a squad. And like I said earlier, I can get my quarterbacks later. I wasn't going to get my tight end later. So when I'm playing positional value right now in a one quarterback, Loveland to me has more value in that position than Josh Allen was. Of course, I'm going to be proven wrong here because Loveland or Tyler Warren are going to make it back around here to me, and I should.
Well, I think it's been great so far that no quarterbacks have been taken off the board going through 3 rounds. We're going to see who Brett takes here to go at the 3-12-4-1 turn here. But so far, it's been all running backs and wide receivers and only 3 tight ends off the board. I got to say, though, I agree with all 3 of these tight ends being taken so far because that's where Travis Kelce would be taken in previous years, and even a Mark Andrews when he used to be hot. Christian McCaffrey at the 312, I think is disgusting, but Yeah, so I mean, I don't see a reason not to take any of those tight ends this early too. But yeah, now finally Josh Allen goes to the 402, but with what we were just talking about with the rushing upside. So, Doc Watson, I've noticed, has taken 2 rookies so far before they're even drafted, between Carnell Tate and I always forget Coleman's first name. What's it? That's right, Jonah Coleman. So I can't say I've done a ton of study on Jonah Coleman so far, but wherever Carnell Tate lands, I think is going to be a great spot. So, unknown rookies at this point. Do you agree with taking chances on those guys at the 210 and 310?
So, I love Tate. He's going to be another great Ohio State wide receiver, and he's likely in your rookie drafts, depending on how the draft slots go. All things equal, right now he's the 1.2 in my mind. And depending if you need a quarterback, you in Superflex, you could go with Mendoza. But the big thing here is when you're talking about, Tate probably a little early. In my mind, it's early. I think you could have gotten him later based off what I've seen. Coleman definitely got him later. I like Coleman, and trust me, Coleman is my number 2 right now in the class. But I still don't know without him with a landing spot. I can't gamble this high on him in a startup by any means. There's just too much. If he could go day 2, he could go day 3, and then you're put in the position of he's not a number 1 running back, even though he may have some traits of a number 1 running back.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Like, in the case of a Coleman, I too agree. Like, I have to see exactly where he goes before I take any chances on him, because he could end up on just an awful rushing team. Like, the Arizona Cardinals were the worst last year, but I think now that they've added Tyler Algier to go with James Conner, I think it's going to be a lot better. But I mean, if he lands somewhere like, I don't know, trying to think off the top of my head, like there's just I'm sure there's a few teams out there that have just struggled to run the football. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals struggled to run the football last year too, with and without Joe Burrow. I mean, they got better toward the end of the season, but
Cincinnati's one of those teams I wouldn't mind seeing him go to. I know it would crush Chase Brown, but he's the hammer to Chase Brown's lightning, and that's the kind of, that's where teams want to go.
Yes, and being that they only had somebody like a Samaje Perine to be like the change of pace guy, like, you're right, like they absolutely could use somebody like a Coleman. And I mean, I don't hate Chase Brown, but I would absolutely laugh if that's where Coleman landed, just because I know that's going to hurt all their feelings. But
it's going to break.
I know.
I'm over here stuck. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. So you got Burrow at the 412 by accident. That doesn't suck at all, though, right?
After I've talked so much crap about not taking the quarterback. That's all right. Because I will take it, because I'm going to go grab I'm going to go with the man who I think is starting to have his coming out party. You talk again about one thing that you can't coach his speed, and he's starting to learn some technique out there. And you saw where a lot of people wanted him to kind of regress, and it wasn't a full steady year for him. But Jameson Williams, I'm telling you, he's got the talent, and it's that freakish next level talent. And even with Amon-Ra there, that team is a short one less weapon with Montgomery, so they're going to be a little more pass heavy, I think.
I just got sniped on 2 running backs in a row, Barkley and Jacobs, and I'm a little tilted about it, but I think Duarte, 5.656, and Breaking Ball were right to do that. Like, those are really good picks in this spot. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's do Jalen Waddle, if I can even select him. Gosh dang it. There we go. So Waddle, I absolutely love that Denver landing spot. I think he's going to be a high-end wide receiver 2, possibly a low-end wide receiver 1 in that offense, being that I think Bo Nix is the best quarterback he's ever going to have in his NFL career, in addition to just being the guy that the Broncos have been sorely missing. Not to shit on Cortland Sutton, because I love him too, but what do you think, John? I mean, what does this mean for Jalen Waddle now that he's a Denver Bronco?
I think it's huge for him. They brought him over for a reason. Sean Payton has a plan. Sean Payton isn't the guy who's going deep with the ball, right? He likes the quick passes. I mean, he's the one who got Michael Thomas 120 some receptions. So is he going to be using Jalen Waddle close to the line of scrimmage, quick out, allow Bo Nix to do what he's done best throughout his college career and early pro career, and that is process quick. 1-2 out, 1-2 out. And I think that's where Waddle's going to succeed. That's where this offense is going to succeed. So, I mean, 120, 140 targets feels like a floor for him this year. And as long as he stays on the field and, like I was saying earlier, doesn't leave the field for every time someone steps on his foot, I think that's definitely within reach, and 100 receptions back to his rookie year type totals. But expect more something like that, those rookie year short yardage, as opposed to some of the bigger plays that we got with Tyreek Waddle in the lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if this is concerning for Tyreek Hill at this stage in his career, but as of today, March 23rd, he is still a free agent. Are teams just taking their time, waiting to see what they do in the draft before they take a shot on him?
One of my things, and I've been looking at these guys, you got him, you got Debo. There's a handful of them out there right now. None of these guys are in any hurry. You always see these guys, especially wide receivers like this. I mean, Debo's not like hey, I need you to run some cool routes or anything like this. They're like, hey, step back a yard, we're throw you the ball and do something with it. So, different types of wide receivers, obviously, but both of them, I think, are guys that they don't mind right now, like just seeing how the waters play out for the free agency and draft, because we still got some wide receivers to draft here that are worth it.
Most definitely. So, in the middle, we're almost at the halfway point of the show, and I just want to remind you all. I first of all, thank you all so far for tuning in. We're about through the halfway point at once we hit 30 minutes. But if you haven't already, hit the like button, whether you're on Twitter or YouTube right now. Hit the like button and subscribe to Get Right Fantasy while you're at it. It helps us out a lot, and we greatly appreciate the interaction with the video. So, getting back to it, John. So now we're starting to see tight ends come off the board here. I'm just going to go ahead and just grab Sam Laporta here as my guy, where I still have a lot of faith in him in Detroit's offense, where in Ben Johnson's last year as the offensive coordinator there, it seemed like they just wanted to go wide receiver heavy rather than lean on Laporta for the bulk of just, getting the ball down the field. Now it's Drew Petzing as the OC for the Detroit Lions. He was really good at making sure that McBride got the ball. Not that he really had to do that much, because McBride's damn good anyway. Right. Is that going to rub off on Sam Laporta too?
I definitely see Sam Laporta getting back more involved in the offense. He has had a couple of years here of being banged up, a little more injury prone, and Jameson Williams been involved. And you run the ball 53% of the time. If they get to more of a 45% run share, and open up all those passes for Goff, which I think they're going to have to. I think their defense isn't as good. I think their defense is good, so they're going to have to score more points. This division's better. All these teams can score points in this division now. So it's like, yeah, I could definitely see them having to pass more, higher scoring, and allowing all these guys to eat. Gibbs, Jameson, Amon, and Laporta.
So speaking of Jameson, that was your 501 as you're getting ready to pick your 612. I'll let you do that before I hit you. I'll let you do your back-to-back stuff before I hit you with the next question, just so I don't ruin your concentration. I tend to have that effect on my guests. I have to remember to let them pick before I hammer them, no pun intended, with another question.
Absolutely.
So,
no worries. I'm gonna grab this rookie running back who I've been very impressed watching his film. I think a lot of people could very easily have, after Love, Price as their number 2.
Yeah, so Jadarian Price. So I can't say I've scouted him much yet either. What has impressed you so far about Jadarian Price?
I like one-cut runners. And I know he hasn't necessarily displayed in college as much the ability to catch the ball, but he has shown that he can when given the opportunity. Those 2 things right there. Give me a guy who gets an opportunity, who's got some speed and can hit a hole and then catch a ball. I mean, I like what he can do. He just had to sit behind one of the better running backs that we've seen in quite a while. And I'm going to follow it up with another rookie, guy who I actually haven't scouted yet. But I can't wait to, because a lot of people, I initially was down on him just from what I watched through the season, thinking he wasn't going to translate. But a lot of people who are smarter than me have told me I'm wrong. So I'm excited to read the film on him. And he does seem, though, like the draft capital is going to come to him. He's looking more and more at Casey Concepcion like he's going to be a first-round draft pick. And if that's the case, I love getting him here in the 7th round of a draft, because those are the guys that, if they hit, they're third rounders next year.
Definitely, and pardon the corniness, but Casey Concepcion, I hope he lands in Kansas City, just because A, it's right there in his name. I mean, how could you not want that? But 2, Kansas City could actually use a guy like him, being that we don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice, and we don't know. Beyond that, who else is going to catch the football? Like Travis Kelce signed a 3-year contract earlier today, but I don't know how much longer he's got to go for being speedy and running routes and whatnot. So they need to draft somebody, right?
Yeah, I listen. They really do need. They got Walker, so they don't have to worry if Love somehow fell, which he won't to them. But they don't have to worry, I think they need weapons there for Justin Fields when he starts the season.
That part.
Just don't forget, people, Patrick Mahomes is not starting this year. Not starting the season. He will not be starting for the first probably 2 months. They're going to come back only if Justin Fields starts to implode. But with Andy Reid, this is going to be a fun first couple months. Anyways, I digress. Casey Concepcion can definitely end up there, though, because he's got the need, where he can land and fit. I think in the draft, it's going to be exciting. They could definitely go wide receiver, and he could be the one.
Most definitely. So I actually wanted to get back to you about Jameson Williams as well, as you took him at the 501. Yes. I just got done glazing Sam Laporta, being that I have a lot of faith in him this year, bouncing back with Drew Petzing as his offensive coordinator. Is that going to be? Is there any validity behind my wishes, or is Jameson Williams, you believe he's going to step up, where I still have some doubts about him, where I just think he's just a man of speed and that's about it, as well as being a gunner on special teams? But what has impressed you most about Jameson Williams outside of when he can avoid injuries, that he can step up in, what year is this, year 3, year 4?
Year 4. I mean, we've had back-to-back, am I correct? Back 1,000-yard seasons. And he doesn't need 80 targets to have a huge season.
You are correct about the 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah. He doesn't need 10 catches to have a huge game, or 10 targets even. This is a man who on 3-4 targets can take 2 of them to the house any given game. So that's the type of firepower that wins you a week. Unfortunately, and I like that as my wide receiver too. I thought for a sec, I forgot about Drake London. But that's the type that I like having in my wide receiver too. If I can have a nice, steady, strong wide receiver 1, and then have that wide receiver 2 that can just explode for those big weeks, I'm okay with the weeks that he's going to disappear, because as wide receivers and the volatility of them to begin with, that's okay, because his ceilings are going to win me more weeks, and I think his 1-2 targets for 16 yards will lose me a week.
I see Kendall took Kyle Monungai at the 7-9. Now, I needed some help with my home dynasty team. It was falling apart with talent that was not working out. I actually sold Kyle Monungai in my home league just to take back. I took back. Joe Burrow was one of them. I was trying to remember the other guy that I took back as well. But I'll be able to pull that up shortly. But Kyle Monungai is I love him on my Chicago Bears, but I just don't believe he's like going to ever be the guy in the Chicago Bears backfield. I think he's always going to be paired up with with somebody dynamic like a DeAndre Swift. I don't know how much longer Swift is going to last on the Bears at this point, but I would imagine the Bears are going to try to make him as a part of a duo for Monungai's whole time in Chicago. John, you seem to agree with me based on your head motions. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, you're right. It's going to be a committee backfield. It's what worked. And not that he can't be the Montgomery he can't be a solid running back too, at times, but for the most part, they're going to look for a more electric back. They're already been looking. So it's like they really want Travion Henderson last year, which never quite matriculated. But it's what happens, So, but I think you got a year or two, but he's not like a second contract guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like in 2 years, it's going to be like, all right, you got what you got out of him. And what's his age, Monungai, by the way? It's like, so he might already be like 24.
Kyle Monungai currently is 23 years old.
23. Okay. So not too bad. But, by the time he goes into his next contract, he's going to be 25. 26. And that's really kind of the plateau part. So if he hasn't done it by then, he won't.
Yeah, no, I don't see how. Don't get me wrong. I love what a bruiser Kyle Monungai is. He's just like all the other Rutgers running backs, just like Isaiah Pacheco, where they're taught to run like they're angry at the ground, and it just pays off so well. I don't know how they don't replicate that with other colleges, but between Pacheco and Monungai, like he's a fun weapon to have on my Bears. God, I love him, but I ended up selling him in my home dynasty league for. I packaged him with Greg Dulcich while he had some value on the Dolphins, along with a second-round pick in exchange for Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow, and a third-round pick. So I was down a quarterback, I needed somebody, and I needed a little tight end help too because I think Laporta got injured anyway. So it's just some short-term value that I didn't mind trading down for in the draft. So I know you're in the middle of making your picks. I'll let you make your picks before you tell me what you think about that.
I think I'm going to pick before 5, 4, 3, 2, sudden. Just because I'm going wide receiver, and I don't love that pick, but I do need another wide receiver, and I just wasn't in love with a lot of other people that I'm seeing down here. It's crazy how quickly it gets dry.
Just like I showed earlier on screen, the ADP right now is completely disgusting with a lot of these rookies being way too high. Like, why is Elijah Surratt higher than DeAndre Swift? I mean, I know you could make an argument for dynasty value, but we don't even have landing spots for them yet. It's crazy.
Here's a guy who I think is a potential RB1 the next 2 years, a low-end RB1.
Let's see it. Oh, I'm with you on this, John. Like, when I made a YouTube short on my Barely Fantasy YouTube channel about David Montgomery, I love the landing spot. Like, finally, he gets to be the guy Houston was sorely lacking in Mixon, Chubb. And even then, like, Woody Marks has not really shown to be anything more exciting than, like, Damian Pierce. So
Mixon had what was a running back one to start. He was getting it all.
Yeah.
And he was looking like the Joe Mixon that we remember. And then he got hurt at the end of the year. And then he just really faded off very quickly. And so what happened then, they brought in Marks. They drafted him. And, he was fun in the sense that he caught some passes, but he wasn't really an in-between tackles runner. And they tried that with Chubb, and even Chubb hit a home run or two last year, I believe. That was like, wait, is that? Yes, that's Nick Chubb. But Montgomery's got 2 years here to be just an absolute beast with that team. The only thing that's going to keep him is that offensive line. But at least now I think it's going to create some balance with the team. I think the team has some balance if they really try and pound Montgomery up there.
Montgomery signed a 2-year, $16.5 million contract, which I think that's an insane steal, even though he's 28 years old, has been in the league for 7 years. That's got to be a steal for somebody like David Montgomery, because $8 million is what DeAndre Swift got. And, I mean, I hate to the dog on DeAndre Swift, but I'm sorry, but David Montgomery has shown that he has been a better running back than DeAndre Swift, which this was proven during the COVID season in Chicago when he was handed just a full workload. Matt Nagy got taken away play calling duties, and next thing you know, he's RB4 on the season. So is there any reason why, the offensive line leaves something to be desired in Houston, but how does Montgomery not repeat another top 15 season?
He catches the ball, and so that's why he does. That's why he makes it. So because he has that option to catch the ball, Stroud is not a runner. He would much rather. He does look down the field technically a little bit more, but he's a smart quarterback, and I think he's going to get coached into making the right decisions. And more of those decisions are a couple more dump offs per game to David Montgomery. We saw it more with Woody Marks. Woody Marks had an 8 reception game, I think. And I think that happens because, Stroud is becoming a little bit more, hey, I'm not a Blazer. I better get off to a guy who at least can get the ball out of here quick.
The most marks has ever had in the receiving game is 5 targets.
Oh, it's 5. Okay.
And he did that twice, and in both games he scored a touchdown. But I mean, Woody Marks, I just don't see as being a pass catcher out of this backfield. He's going to lose pretty much everything to David Montgomery.
Yes. The only saving grace that Marks has is that he's also a great pass blocker. But David Montgomery he's that all around, I do everything good type running back. So they brought him over for a reason. They're going to use him. Woody Marks, it was a fun couple of games.
I got to tell you, too, I ended up selling Woody Marks, too, in my Dynasty League on February 19th, my home league. And this was just 9 days before DJ Moore signed with the Buffalo Bills, because I got back DJ Moore straight up for Woody Marks. And then he got traded to the Bills, and then David Montgomery ended up being traded to the Texans. So it all worked out 9 days before it happened. I normally never make trades in February because there's so much risk, but that's one that I will happily victory lap that one, hoping that it helps me actually win my league too.
And those are the type of trades that are going to make you go back to the table again in April. Just keep going.
Oh my gosh! Thank goodness our rookie draft is not till the last week of July, which not to spill too much away, but I'm really hoping that we could make it a guys trip and some like a lake house out in Indiana somewhere or something like that. Have a boys' night out in the summer somewhere. We're hoping to get something like that going to do the draft out there. So hoping we have cell reception out that way. We hope we can make that happen. So I don't know about your Dynasty rookie drafts, John. So you and the boys end up doing anything fun, or maybe some women? I don't know if they're in your league too.
No, the majority of my Dynasty leagues are kind of done online. I do have a couple home leagues, though. I have a big one that I've been in for guys I've known since high school. So 30-some years we've known each other.
That's awesome.
We have a big one each year where we party, lake house, we do that whole thing, but it's just a redraft league, not a dynasty. But it's good times. I recommend to anybody in the league, find that home league, find that group in that neighborhood or something like this, and have an event like that, because a live draft, it's something different. I've Zoomed, I've done a million drafts over the phone or computer, but there's something about an in-person draft. It's just it hits a little different.
It's been years since my last one too, where it's typically at like somebody's townhome or house or a condo or whatever, and at least that's fun to just be present with your boys or whatnot. But man, like it's just so hard to get everybody together once everybody's over 30, right?
Yeah, we all got kids, and it's like it's everyone gets the evil eye knowing when that weekend's coming up.
Yeah. So I ended up taking a chance here in this draft on Blake Corum at the 10-7.
Okay.
Corum is starting to get a little more work behind Kyron Williams, but not to the point where I think Corum is going to be replacing Kyron. Am I wrong about this? Do you think Corum is taking over that backfield?
No, I don't think he's taking over the backfield. But here's the thing: is we start looking at paths. Who's got the quickest path to fantasy success? He's got an immediate path to RB1 in that Sean McVay offense. He's got an immediate path to 20 carries, touches a game. You know what I'm saying? So that's where his value comes in. And so I'm starting to love Corum. Even though I didn't love the player in college, I love his situation and what his chance to be in the NFL right now, because he's still a solid back. There's no doubt.
I think I blame Pierce at the 10-11 took my favorite pick in this draft so far as value goes. Romeo Doubs is presumably the top receiver for the New England Patriots right now. I talked a bit about this in the YouTube short I made about him in Barely Fantasy. He's a great red zone option. He's great at doing outside and slot routes. And he's a pretty decent blocker and returner as well, despite, not being able to take the onside kick return that led to the Bears' victory. But we're looking past all that. Is Romeo Doubs going to be the top guy for the Patriots replacing Stephon Diggs?
No, he won't. He's not. But I believe he still has that with that. I love Drake May. So here's the thing: is I love Drake May, and I think Doubs is still has that 65 to 75 catch potential with that 1,100 yards. I just think that they're eventually they're looking for somebody else. But he fits a role. He definitely fits that boundary receiver. He can do it all, and he's reliable. The thing about him is he fit. Reason why Vrabel got him out is because he's a tough guy. He goes out there and blocks. He's going to do all the things, little things. And so that's why he's over on that team right now, is because of the type of player he is. He's solid. But is a wide receiver, back-end wide receiver 2 year possible for him? Absolutely. Absolutely, because volume alone. I just don't think he's a crazy dynamic playmaker. I think that's what limits his ceiling a little bit. But I cannot wait to see his New England helmet. That's for sure. That's going to be.
So, not to pick on I Blame Pierce here, but he followed that up at the 11:02 with Tyrone Tracy. So, Cam Scadaboo is going to be coming off of a major leg injury himself. I don't know if I want to get into the stupid stuff he said on a podcast recently, but we'll save that for another time. So behind Cam Scadaboo is Tyrone Tracy. The Giants also worked out Jeremiah Love, the top running back out of Notre Dame, who is probably going to be a top 5 pick. I mean, it would be crazy if he falls to below top 5. The Giants did work him out. If Jeremiah Love ends up going to the Giants, is that sayonara for both Cam Scadaboo and Tyrone Tracy?
Definitely in the long run, Tracy, because Love's super weapon is his pass catching. He's next level. So Tyrone Tracy, former wide receiver, you're done. Cam at least has the I'm going to run through brick wall mentality, and not that Love's not a 3-down back, because he is, but I could still see them using a little bit of Cam involved. Once again, teams want this 1-2 combo, so I think Cam, you're gonna. But here's what it does, though. It neuters him. I mean, he goes from that guy that everyone was like, oh, he's got RB1 just drooling all over him. He's now you're just hoping he's back in RB2. You're really hoping, because Jeremiah Love's just going to eat too big of the pie, and he's going to take all that beautiful pass catching work that Cam showed he could do.
Yeah, so there's a lot of potential that a lot of talk that Jeremiah Love might fall to number 7 and end up going to the Washington Commanders. I don't know about you, John, but I just don't see that happening, because they went out and got a bunch of running backs to replace pretty much everybody they had on their team. So except for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, as we like to call him, Bill, and now they have Rashad White. Now they have Jerome Ford. This is looking like another committed committee. So, John, at this stage, like, I don't see Jeremiah Love falling to number 7, but I think the Commanders go wide receiver here to replace Deebo Samuel. What do you think?
Oof. So either way, it's one of those two things. Here's what they're doing. They don't expect, like you don't expect, Love to fall to them. So that's why they're getting these positions in place, because they're cheaper in free agency right now, and they don't like anybody else in the draft that could fall to them later on. Like I was telling you, it's pretty it dries up really quick. So they replace those two guys. They got, okay, here's Ford, here's White, and then we still got Bill. So okay, we got our running back. If Love falls to us, we'll take the embarrassment of riches, and we'll take him, because he's that much better than anything we got. But if not, I think, like you said, they look at that wide receiver, because one of those guys will be there. And I think you can even replace him with a more fun version in Lemon, who I mean, he's got all the potential, Lemon, to be a superstar, I think. He's got all that jitterbug. What the new NFL is dropping off and allow people to make big moves, and he could be fun. But he's also high risk. Not like Tate. Tate's a lot less risky.
Kind of hard to be risky with Ohio State wide receivers. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. But going off of rookies, so whenever I do something like a dynasty startup, even in mock drafts, I'm always hesitant to go with rookies, because I'm a lot more conservative with getting my team going. I like the established talent. I might get a guy who's in his sophomore year, 3rd year, 4th year. I don't like to lean on rookies. I mean, I guess that's just more, I mean, unless somebody like a Jeremiah Love falls my way, I'll absolutely grab him. But yeah, I don't like to take a lot of chances on rookies. So, does that just make me more of a curmudgeon, or should I be looking toward taking more chances on rookies like some of these guys are doing?
I think it's an addiction. The rookies definitely become an addiction, because they are that shiny new thing. But I try and go after the ones that I have actually spent some time reviewing for the most part. Casey Concepcion doesn't fall in that one. I'm going to take that guy, because I think here's a potential huge. I like when I took Reed earlier. I think Reed and Coker are both post-hype sleepers. I think a lot of the Coker fans are still on them, but I think both those guys have some big years potential ahead of them this year.
I love that Jalen Coker pick too, because when Bryce Young throws him the football, he looks damn good with it,
He started looking really good.
And next to a guy like a Teteroa McMillan, I don't see why he doesn't flourish in this new look Carolina Panthers offense. As disgusting as the NFC South is, I mean, he's still seeing a minimum of 4 to 6 targets per game in the double-digit weeks of the football season. PPR, wide receiver 83 for his rookie year, and wide receiver PPR 69 last year in 11 games. So, yeah, he hasn't seen 50 targets yet, but how does he not build on top of that? Because I don't see the Panthers drafting a wide receiver.
Mm-mm. Absolutely not. They are. No, he's their number 2. And without Xavier Legette, really, I mean, he's flashed, but he's I guess he's the unpolished dude that we knew he was. Where Coker is just that he's that smooth number 2, and you're, I mean, and he's reliable. So is that wide receiver 2 year in his ceiling? Yeah. And I'm getting him here in the later rounds. So, and who says McMillan is healthy? Let's say McMillan starts getting double teamed and now he has to take this level up and he's not able to do it. So, I mean, but Coker, I think, is just one of those guys. He's a huge upside play in an offense that has a chance to be improving.
Definitely. So we're starting to get in these later rounds here. Now we're in round 13, about to go into round 14. It starts to get a little disgusting. You could absolutely take a shot on some shiny new rookies, and Caleb Johnson barely played last year that Kendall just took. I still consider him a quote-unquote rookie because, I mean, he had a few blunders that embarrassed him during the regular season, but in my opinion, he's still developing it into possibly something in the Steelers. But I took James Conner at the 13-6, who I think is absolutely going to be splitting carries with Tyler Algier just because the Algier talent is absolutely there, and they're starting to unwind their time with James Conner, but they still keep giving him 2-year contracts. So as a late-round pick, is Conner a steal in the 13th out of 15 rounds?
I like Conner. I think that he is still kind of the focal point there. Once again, right here, we're just looking for points anywhere, right? So Trey Benson hasn't shown anything. I think he's maybe shown 2 runs in his entire career. And they brought Tyler Algier for a reason. So they brought him over to spell Conner, not to spell Benson. And they will continue like more of a 2-head. James Conner, we're not going to see those the big volume years I think that we've seen in the past. But if Algier gets hurt, if something happens, I mean, this is, like I said earlier, what we're looking for at this point. We're looking for guys with paths.
Definitely. I just happened to see Brett 420 take the 13-14 picks, waiting this long to grab a quarterback in Jared Goff. I love that Isaiah Pacheco pick at 13-12. I think that is a huge steal, considering that David Montgomery got traded to the Texans, and now Pacheco's going to be replacing Montgomery as the backup to Gibbs. They still run that 2-headed monster down over there in Detroit. Pacheco, do you see him having low-end RB2 upside throughout the entire 2026 season?
I think he's definitely, the upside's there. I mean, you're in the Detroit offense. They brought him over to fill that Montgomery role. He's Montgomery, just not as good of a pass catcher. You know, I mean, he's going to run as hard as Montgomery, that's for sure. You know, so that's what they brought him over for. They brought him over for a reason, and he will get those touches. He'll need touchdowns. That's the key, I think, with him. If he doesn't get to those like 8 to 10 touchdowns, then you're not going to be very happy.
I just took quite possibly the most disgusting pick in the 14th round, Jerry Jeudy. Sorry, excuse me.
Still a wide receiver 1 for Cleveland until proven otherwise.
For whatever that's worth, and that actually leads me into my next question for you, John. So I have a little bit of faith in Isaiah Bond, despite not necessarily liking what he's done off the field when he was back in college. But Jerry Jeudy, he's technically the wide receiver 1 on the depth chart, but doesn't get used as one. Does Jerry Jeudy bounce back into like wide receiver 3 value?
I think that's the hope, but I don't think it happens. I think we've seen the best of Jerry Jeudy. I think it's done. The number 1 pass catcher over there is Harold Fannin. He's going to get all those short little targets. I just don't. I mean, I know it's the coach there. It's Monken, correct?
Todd Monken.
Yep. So they're going to get creative. Monken's fun, but look at the tools he has. He doesn't have anything right now, and they're not building for this year. This is a complete reset year for this organization. They still have Deshaun Watson, who may be their starter, which shows you just kind of like the state that team is in. But it's I no. Long answer, no.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Cleveland Browns offense too. Is just no.
Yeah.
That's just this is one word is all you need for the Browns offense. Even though I did grab what's his face, Quinshawn Judkins as my second running back. So honestly, I don't see anybody in this offense being more valuable than Judkins. Harold Fannin, I'm still a little skeptical about because he's got to have a competent quarterback throwing him the football. But he looked pretty okay last year with the quarterback carousel he had last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like he had some big performances with the guy they
Shador?
before. I can't even remember his name. The guy they
Dylan Gabriel?
Before. Yeah. Yep.
And then they had Joe Flacco before they traded him.
Right. Right. So yeah, it was a comedy of errors in Cleveland's quarterback situation. It still will be this year, but I think somebody's got to get the ball thrown to him, and somebody who like Fannin is a big-bodied, strong. I mean, he's not big when it comes to tight ends, but he's still big for your average human being, who can run routes, get open quick, and short ADOT. He's going to be good for PPR.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. The 15th round it keeps disappearing on me here. I'm going to try to get this back on screen. I think it might. Yeah, we'll see if that stays for now. But so as we're starting to wrap things up here, as we actually crossed the 1 hour mark. This draft took a little longer than I'd like. So John, I know you said you had a hard out pretty soon, but hopefully you can stick with us as we start to wrap things up here. So yeah, we got a few picks left, and then I'll let you all know about the sponsor for the show, and then we'll get you out of here. So Jadon Blue was the 15-3 for Vince Mapstone, but sorry, not sorry, Vince. I'm calling cap on that. I don't think you actually believe in Jadon Blue. You're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks because outside the Dallas Cowboys running backs, I don't see anybody beyond somebody like a Javonte Williams having any value. Even if Javonte were to get hurt, I think it would just be a really terrible committee in Dallas. Or would you tend to agree that Javonte definitely is the only valuable back down there in Dallas?
Yeah, Javonte rehabbed his value huge last year. He looked fantastic. If he goes down, Jadon Blue cannot carry the load. He's a pass-catching guy, but doesn't even project as anything more than that. Like, he's not even a third down back because, in my opinion, to be a third down back, you better pass block too. But Jadon Blue is just going to run a little route here or there. And Dallas ain't going to give you a whole lot other than Jay Will. That's for sure. I agree. Who's the other guy there? I'm trying to think. They might draft somebody late, but I'm trying to think of the 7th round pick that they took last year. Mufa?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Let me grab his name real quick while we're waiting here. So, yeah, it's Phil Maffa.
Phil Maffa. A lot of people liked him. He's a big dude, like goal line type bruiser. But so to your point, those are likely the Thunder Lightning little squirt gun and water bottle off back off it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed this Dynasty Startup Draft. 15th round ends in Kyler Murray as the second quarterback for Brett 420. I love that for a Dynasty Startup.
That's my whole point. Look at that. The last two picks, he got Goff and Murray. That's how that. I mean, and you're set. I mean, I think you got two starters in my opinion, and one quarterback.
Oh, that's sick. So, yeah, Darnold, Ward, those are the last quarterbacks that went. We are running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen, but before we do that, I do want to get into one quick supporter of the show, which is Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. We enjoy their best ball draft tournaments, and we live stream them all off season here on Get Right Fantasy. In best ball leagues, all you have to do is draft your team, and that's it. No need to do anything with your teams all season long, no waivers, no trades, and no weekly lineup setting. You can even draft hundreds of teams if you'd like and never have to manage them. Best Ball is also a great way to learn player values in ADP for your own regular fantasy football drafts. Also, give their pick'em contest a try, where all you have to do is pick higher or lower on player stats such as total yards and touchdowns. Sign up today with our promo code GETRIGHT and receive a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Any deposit exceeding $2,000 will be kept at $1,000 in bonus cash. Download the fastest growing fantasy app from your app store right now. Make that first deposit. Play today. Be sure to visit UnderdogFantasy.com to check your state's eligibility. Please play responsibly. You must be age appropriate and present in your state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. If you're in the state of New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK. NY, or text HOPE-NY 467-369. John, I am so glad you got to join us tonight for the Season 2 debut for Monday Night Mock Drafts with Evan. So glad to have you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, so this will be a regular Monday night show. We will be doing this every week until week 1 of the NFL season. So, I'd like to thank my guest, John Hammersmith, for joining us for the season debut. Everything else for next week's show is going to be a bit of a surprise, but be sure to stick around here for Friday Night Mocks coming up later this week with the channel. So we'll definitely keep you all posted here for the Friday mock draft tournament coming up that we'll be doing for another year in a row. And be sure to catch me as well on Wednesday. Look for the Sports Affiliation YouTube channel where I'll be appearing on the I'll be appearing with Carla Hazam on the Game Changers podcast. John, is there anything else you need to plug? Where can people find you?
No, well, I'll be producing some stuff here with Dynasty Nerds soon. But check out Dynasty Nerds content right in the middle of rookie season right now. Their podcast and everything as well is all about highlighting some of the best hidden gems that you're going to find in this year's draft. But yeah, other than that, keep drafting. Let's have fun.
Hell yeah, John. So, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between or outside of it, this has been Monday Night Mock Drafts with Evan. Signing off. Have a great night. We'll see you all soon. Take care.
Thanks.
You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.